League Cup final tickets are almost gone. A shocking financial report reveals Celtic are a staggering £265 million ahead of Rangers, and Martin O'Neill has opened the door to helping Wilfried Nancy settle in. Plus, the dressing room is buzzing about the new boss, and Arne Engels has set himself a massive World Cup target. Let's get into it. But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Celtic's allocation for the League Cup final is now all but gone, with just 5 tickets across 2 sections remaining for the Hampton showpiece. Tickets went on sale last week and have been snapped up rapidly, with Celtic fans once again set to pack out their end of the National Stadium. There is a possibility that more briefs could become available. St Mirren were initially handed around 9,500 tickets, but their allocation can rise as high as 17,000 depending on demand. The Paisley Club have now hit the 12,000 mark, and any tickets they return would be redirected to Celtic. For now, though, Celtic's side of the stadium is effectively a sellout. In the dugout will be a fresh face for the Hoops. Martin O'Neill has confirmed that Wednesday night against Dundee will be his last game in the dugout in his interim spell. Wilfried Nancy is in Glasgow and is set to be announced as Celtic's new manager, with his first game coming against Hearts on Sunday. It's then a Europa League match against Roma before making the short journey to Hampton Park on Sunday to face St Mirren in the final of the Premier Sports Cup. What a start it could be for Wilfried Nancy if he is to lift the League Cup in his third game in charge. Now for the main story, as Celtic supporters have grown increasingly vocal in recent months about the board's reluctance to deploy the club's financial strength, and a new analysis has pushed that debate right back into the spotlight. While frustration continues to simmer behind the scenes, the numbers laid out by football finance specialist Stefan Borson show just how far ahead Celtic are of Rangers, and why fans expect the club to turn that dominance into a more ambitious football strategy. Over the last decade, Celtic have quietly built a financial cushion unmatched anywhere else in Scotland. Player trading, consistent European involvement, and operational stability have created a model that brings in huge surpluses year after year. It is this very success that has fueled supporter agitation. Celtic have the money, and plenty of it, but are perceived as unwilling to spend aggressively enough to build a squad worthy of their financial standing. The contrast with Rangers could not be starker. While Martin O'Neill has steadied Celtic on the pitch, Rangers have lurched from one crisis to another off it, with managerial upheaval, failed recruitment, and investor disappointment defining their most recent chapter. The gap between the clubs, Borson argues, is no longer merely competitive, it is structural, and it is widening. Yet these revelations arrive at a delicate time for Celtic. O'Neill's impressive interim spell is about to give way to the Wilfried Nancy era, supporters are demanding accountability from the board, and the January window looms large. The financial gulf being highlighted doesn't simply expose Rangers' weaknesses, it calls attention to Celtic's obligation to put their immense resources to better use. Borson said, Rangers are not making anywhere near enough money on player sales. The club consistently loses money. Most clubs do. The gap is not good with Celtic. Now, whether that's about performance financially or player sales, the trend is awful. If you look at it on a profit basis, year on year, the gap between Celtic and Rangers is getting more significant each year. So much of the numbers and the difference between the two clubs comes down to what you're doing in UEFA competition. Rangers, in terms of the sort of headline, wasn't a bad season. Turnover-wise, it was up 7%. Gate receipts were broadly in line. Broadcast was broadly in line, so they drove actually quite a substantial increase in commercial revenue. On the face of it, it wasn't a terrible performance. Look, Rangers are clearly in a difficult position right now, and it's just going to take time for it to wash through. In other news, Martin O'Neill has confirmed he is more than willing to help incoming Celtic manager Wilfried Nancy settle into the job, but only if he's asked. There has been a lot of talk, with no substance, of a move upstairs for the current manager, but that isn't on his current agenda. With O'Neill set to take charge of his final match on Wednesday before the Frenchman arrives, the interim boss was asked what the handover process will look like and whether he expects to give guidance on the current squad. O'Neill made it clear that he won't impose himself on Nancy, but his door will be open. He said, "Well, that's a very good point. I have no objection to him coming in and asking me my opinion, and it will be an opinion, it won't be advice of what I have seen in the last number of weeks, and if he chooses to ask me, I would have no problem with it. I certainly wouldn't be putting any demands on him. You know, he's got a job on now. He will be focusing on himself and his own particular staff and his own manner of coaching and his own personality. So all of those things, he won't need my help in that sense. But if he was looking for an opinion, I've got no problem giving him. It's a typically respectful stance from O'Neill, who has repeatedly stressed that Nancy deserves a clean slate and the freedom to build the team his own way. After steadying the ship, winning key league games, and securing a Europa League victory in Rotterdam, O'Neill is now preparing to hand over a squad with momentum, and he's ready to offer insight if the new manager wants a sounding board. Nancy's announcement is due imminently. He arrived in Glasgow on Tuesday night with all of the paperwork and visas finally sorted out. It will mean that the first match he has in the dugout will come against Hearts on Sunday. In other news, Arne Engels says he has heard nothing but good and positive things about incoming Celtic manager Wilfried Nancy, and admits the squad are looking forward to finally turning the page after weeks of uncertainty. With Martin O'Neill's interim spell ending and Nancy set to take charge, players have naturally discussed the looming arrival of the Columbus Crew boss. Engels, though, insists that despite all the noise, the dressing room is still largely in the dark about when the appointment will be formally completed. He said, "Of course, we are going to talk about things that we see in the media. Everybody can see what's been going on, but I've got no idea when it's going to be done. I'm sorry to say I have literally got no idea. Of course, we speak about the name that is going around, and I've only heard good and positive things. Everybody is looking forward to it. Engels has been in strong form under O'Neill, and the Belgian midfielder now looks eager to carry that momentum into the new era. Wilfried Nancy is in Glasgow and could even be at the game against Dundee on Wednesday. An official announcement is imminent as he prepares to take training and host his first media conference. He will have a tough run of games, though. First up, Hearts are at home, which could potentially put the Hoops at the top of the league. Then, on Thursday, the Hoops host Roma before travelling to Hampton Park for the first shot at silverware this season. St Mirren lie in wait. It's no easy start for any Celtic manager, who will have very limited time on the training pitch too. Lastly, Arne Engels has made no secret of his ambition as he stars week in, week out for Celtic. The Celtic midfielder is desperate to force his way back into the Belgium squad ahead of next summer's World Cup in the USA, Mexico and Canada. The 22-year-old was the match winner at Easter Road on Sunday, bravely heading home Celtic's second goal in the 3-1 victory over Hibernian before taking a boot to the face for his troubles. It was another standout display in what has quietly become an excellent run of form under Martin O'Neill. Engels already has 4 Belgium caps to his name, but with competition fierce and the tournament only months away, he knows consistency at club level is the only route back in. He said, "The World Cup is always there. It would be an amazing achievement by myself to get there. It's always nice to play for your country. It's up to me to get the performances in and let everybody see that I am ready for it. It's not up to me to decide, but it's up to me to make good performances and to score goals and make assists. So we'll see what happens, but I will be trying my best to do that for sure." So here's my question for you. With Celtic sitting on £265 million more than Rangers, do you think the board will actually spend big in January to back Wilfried Nancy, or are we in for another disappointing window? Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.